Toyota Yaris GRMN. Gazoo racing tuned by Meisterschaft of Nürburgring. Think of it as RS, M or AMG. It is the performance division of Toyota. And what is the GRMN? Well, we can first cancel this, the GRMN, and we can go directly to call it Sport, because it's much easier. Well, it is, as I said, the performance car from Toyota. So it's not a Supra, but it's a damn fast Yaris. At the rear you find only one exhaust tip in the middle as a racing car. And you have a giant rear spoiler and big chunky rear part here. And you also have a sticker that's on the entire side of the car, which will come standard when you buy this car. And this car costs over 300,000 Swedish kroner or 30,000 euros in European money. And this is a special car, but is it special car for a Yaris? Is it worth 30,000? Underneath this rather flamboyant bonnet lies a 1.8 liter 4-banger supercharged engine. This is the only car in existence that uses supercharger and is a small hatchback, because this is a really small car. It's a Yaris and it churns out 212 horsepower. The exterior is of course a big sign that this car is something special. Springs are stiffer, the car has been lowered, the chassis has been stiffened, the car's engine has been increased in its output, and every single component of this car underneath has been improved. So it's very hard to say that this car is even a Yaris anymore. I am now inside of the Toyota Yaris Gazoo Racing, and I'm in sport seats which are heavily bolstered. They have Alcantara on the sides and you can't move a single inch. This car has 3 doors, the sides and the back, which means that you will have difficulties coming into the back and fitting in the back as well. Me myself wouldn't be able to fit back there. However, that means that you have a lot of space as a driver and as a passenger. You also have this really nice steering wheel that comes from the Toyota GT86. It has the red stripe over, and you have the Gazoo Racing at the steering wheel and at the floor mats. Other than that, there are no special things about the Yaris. It's a typical Yaris and it's okay. It's what's supposed to be. A hot hatch is supposed to be basic inside, and Toyota has implemented that philosophy so well. The only thing that you need to have as a driver, you have a nice steering wheel, you have nice seats. The gear shifter is a bit long for my taste, but other than that it's simplified, but it's usable, and the audio system is actually quite nice. So start the car now. The exhaust is fruity and the wheels are Pirello Potenza. They're quite sticky, and most of the performance cars uses actually the Michelin Pilot Sport tires, so it's a nice change. But we're driving now, and the car has torque because it's a supercharged, and it almost feels like a standard car, a natural aspirated car, but only more powerful. The power is wherever you need it, and it feels, as you can hear there, it is a bit loud in here, but it isn't deafening. However, the springs have been stiffened, which means that when you go over some bumps, it can be a bit jolty. That does not matter when you start to drive faster, because this car, as you can see here, is made to drive. The supercharger whine is there. It feels... The supercharger was available in the Mini Cooper, the sport versions of those, but it soon died out, because in reality the turbo is more efficient. and it doesn't put as much stress on the engine as a supercharger, but the supercharger gives a special feeling which the turbocharger can't. And what I would like more is to sit a bit lower, but it's just a minor detail, because this car is amazing. The supercharger whine, the acceleration 0 to 100 in around over 6 seconds, and the lightweight car. Even though the gear levers seems a bit funny, it's a bit long, the throws are very short, and it feels like it feels so good. Here I have a muscle car driving, Mustang, and the car is properly fast. You can hear the steel brakes, they sound a bit when you brake, which gives a real sports car feeling. Gazoo Racing has really focused on making a car that feels the diff in front, that works its magic. You have the reinforced chassis that does its magic. The engine is tuned to perfection. The only thing that I'm not so sure about is the price. It costs 30,000 euros, which is a lot for a car of this size. It is a real small car. And the interior for 30,000 euros, that's a lot. But in the end, it's not what this car is about. It's about having fun. It is a bit jolty in the cities and on bad roads, which means that this car maybe not be for everyday use. The adrenaline is up there. The problem is, if you want to buy this car, you have to ask Toyota to buy this car. You can't just go into a dealer to just say, I want point at that car and I want to buy it. Because you have to order it, and there will only come 5 to Sweden and only 400 in the entire world. And Toyota Lund was lucky enough to get one of these 5s. So it's a real treat to drive this car, but it is unique. So if you want something that is unique, this is the car for you. It's more unique than the RS18, the Renault Clio RS18 that I drove. It has similar horsepower, but it is heavier, and the heaviness feels, because this car is light, it darts around, but it's still planted. The linear power from the engine is very addicting. And just the driving feel is so great. I cannot express that enough. The car is great when you give it just on the limit, and it's just tuned for that. It's tuned to be thrown around, to be aggressive with. But is it tuned to be livable? Well, almost. But on these roads, these curvy roads, it's so much fun. You have the lift off oversteer as well, and when you start to accelerate from the corners, the car just goes. Turn in here, the front diff bites and just goes. We have a fire brigade. Take it easy. Oh, the sound, the induction sound. You also have induction sound. I mean, there isn't a lot of cars that have that nowadays. This car is a real telltale of what Gazoo Racing can do. because they have used their racing expertise and tinkered with every single detail in this car to make it so much better than the original Yaris. What's my final verdict for the Toyota Yaris Gazoo Racing? Well, Gazoo Racing has done everything right. They have turned out a great hot hatch. It's a throwback to the old extreme hot hatches, and to drive this just puts a smile on my face. However, it is a bit stiff on the roads, and it will only come 5 of these cars to Sweden and 400 in all of the world. So is it exclusive? Yes. Will you be able to buy it? Most definitely no. However, Gazoo Racing has showed what their potential, and they're going to show out some really nice cars in the future. What that will be, we will soon see. Maybe the Toyota Supra will get a Gazoo Racing treatment.